Hello and welcome back to Europa Universalis 4. I am Lord Forwind here with a quick guide on how to play and expand as Mzab. So Mzab is actually quite a fun little country to play. It's one of the two Ibadi nations at the beginning of the game. The only other one is Oman. Oman is better probably if you're going for the third way achievement, although Mzab is quite viable in their own way. They start out with two provinces, one of which is Sunni. There's another Ibadi province to their sort of south, but that's owned by what usually will be your rival, Touggourt here. And pretty much everybody around you hates you, is angry towards you, or wants your land. Tunis is your biggest threat, but Tlemcen is not to be underestimated, nor is Morocco. You do have some quite small advantages. First of all, being Ibadi, you do get 10% goods produced, and you do have the Maliki School of Islam, so you do get 10% cheaper development costs. Not that that will help too much, but you do start as a feudal theocracy, so you're able to use the feudal theocracy interactions. Seize clerical holdings, good for construction. Sanction holy wars is going to be your key one because everybody in the world will be heretics or heathens compared to you. Invite minorities from abroad is great, but you don't actually own anywhere near the land you need to be able to use that. So the first thing to do as these people is to find an ally or at least reduce the chances of having stronger enemies. Rivaling Touggourt is almost always a necessity, and rather than fabricating claims, you want to use the feudal theocracy interaction, Sanction Holy War. That will give you claims on all these provinces, which reduces the need to actually pretty much ever fabricate claims as these guys. Next, you want to try to, usually I find, get Tunis to be friendly towards you. I've done it several times, and the more I do it, the better. More often I find that Tunis not being your enemy is very key. On the other hand, Tlemcen you can usually royal marriage to, but you want Tunis as your ally because Tlemcen is obviously the weaker of the three major Islamic powers in the region. Then you want to immediately raise a mercenary and raise a normal unit as well. The mercenary is going to send you into debt, of course, but you have a very small manpower pool and you want to preserve that as long as possible. Next, you can start trying to convert this province here. In fact, I would recommend it, but you're probably not going to be able to get anything done with it until you actually gain some stability or something else changes. One way you can do it is you can give it to the ulema, which will speed it up. On the other hand, their influence will get really high. Giving it to them, though, allows you to convert it fairly rapidly with things usually. Or not, apparently, this time. Okay. Said it would give us a conversion strength, but I guess it didn't. But it does allow you to seek the support of them and then get some admin power, which you desperately need. Obviously, try and do the same thing with the merchants, and pretty much the same thing with the emirs to give you the best starting position. You boost your stability, and you're actually in pretty good conversion strength, even if the ulema are not actually helping with the conversion strength. It still says we should be able to convert it faster. Oh well. Oh, there it is. It just took a month to register. Next, you want to get to, actually this is a really good start, might continue this one. You pretty much want to declare war immediately on Touggourt to some degree. As soon as you're possibly able to, which in this case I've been a little bit behind on that. But if you do attack them, right now the only person I'd be fighting would be Fazan as well, which is very possible to beat. 2-on-1 early on is fine. You may wish to hire an advisor, which will send you into debt, but that's the way it goes. But the key here is you want to stack wipe Touggourt early on as fast as possible. And then when they retreat, oh, they're actually retreating southward. Perfect. We will wipe them out. You're going to get into a fair amount of debt here, but that's to be expected. And that was not good that I actually got stack wiped there. That was really bad. Loans here. The key point, one of the hardest things to do with these guys is not fall into just an endless spiral of debt. But it is doable. Oh, hopefully. And that's not good. That might actually be a bit of an issue there. Nope, okay, we won. At least we won this part of the skirmish. Next, we should be able to get military access from these guys to actually go after Fazan. But fabricating claims with them on these guys is pretty key as well. Ideally, we still want... there we go, we can do it. We can get a royal marriage with Tunis. Ideally, we want to get into an alliance with Tunis rather than Tlemcen, so we're going to immediately pretty much put this guy back to fabricating... improving relations with them. This is a bit unusual for a normal guide because I'm actually playing it. Sometimes it goes differently. If Touggourt allies Tlemcen, you really need Tunis as an ally, but with Tunis as an ally, you can easily offer them land, just give them like 1 or 2 provinces, and take Tlemcen's capital if you can, Tala Imsan, and all of Touggourt. The reason you want to get to Tala Imsan before any of the other people do is because in order to form Algiers, you need either Tala Imsan or Kabylia, which is obviously owned by Tunis. Dara and Mitja, or whatever, however you say it, is still owned by Tunis. So at some point there'll be a war, but the longer you delay that, the better. Plus, this is a center of trade, which is very good. Also, you also have to send out your merchants because for some reason the game decides, hey, they're not going to know what to do with them, so I'm not going to actually send out merchants, which is really weird. And then it's a matter of you definitely want to raise war taxes. I usually improve their capital a little bit just to make some money. The key is to not go bankrupt in the first war, which is rather difficult. Luckily, you only get 3 gold in loans for quite some time. And then it's a matter of sieging down and then taking all the land. The cool part about it is because a good portion of it will be in the northern Sahara or the old Nile regions that you can do enforce religious unity and stuff on it and actually convert it relatively quickly rather than having to give it to the priests. But I like giving it to the priests because it speeds up the conversion and lowers the revolt risk for a while. Okay, next stage of this. For Jid, I need military access. Now I'm going to try and do something which, if you can do... Oh, that's a good air too. I'm going to try to do something that if you can do, it's worth trying to do, which is trying to vassalize these guys. It sounds crazy and sounds honestly rather stupid, but if you can do it, it makes a big difference in the strength of your country for a while. Vassals, when you're really tiny, are really useful. What happened there? Tunis is attacking the same people I am. Oh. Okay. Bit weird. Okay. Apparently Tunis has decided it wants to get involved as well. Well, I'll let Tunis try and take out their lands, and I will take out Kazan's capital. Now, I think if I vassalize these guys, I don't get dragged into war with Tunis because Tunis is actually at war with Touggourt first. We can help. I do need to take this fort before they take theirs, though. These guys still willing to be... They're almost willing to be allies if I win this war. Okay, fair enough. The problem is they probably have claims on these provinces, so I have to be pretty wary of that. But it's very possible to actually take them out and doing other stuff. Taking out Tunis takes several wars because of how expensive their land is. Are you going to actually raise to retake that fort before I take yours? If they do, I'm going to be rather annoyed. Come on. They're going to take it before I do at this point. Yep. Saw that one coming. Oh, that's a problem. Now Tunis is going to retake that. Well, that's the way it goes sometimes. They aren't willing to accept peace yet. Let's see. I'm pretty sure we can win this fight, although I do have to be relatively careful. And we did win that. And I should be able to stack wipe them here unless they're willing to accept peace. Problem is my war against Touggourt was over their capital, and now their capital's under siege by somebody else, which is a problem. Come on, Fazan. They still don't want peace. All the different problems trying to play as a tiny little nation. See, the problem is, by the time I manage to march my troops over here, it's another month, so their forces have regained morale. Rather infuriating, actually. Okay, well, this hasn't gone exactly as it would if I managed to do it perfectly, but it's still a pretty good example of how to start and expand as these guys. Oh, there's actually a chance I can get back to Touggourt's capital before Tunis does. Oh, we better run for that. This is another reason why I raised the mercenary unit at the beginning of this. Because right now that's one of the few things that actually is giving us units. These guys really do not want to surrender. Wow. Kind of infuriating. They were so close, but I guess because they now feel they're stronger than I am, they're going to keep fighting on. Ay. Okay. Well, we're probably not, this is not a great example. This explains, though, how you can expand relatively rapidly if you do it right. It's not easy, but if you keep Tunis and Tlemcen off, eliminate the miners, and more importantly, if you can get access to the ocean. Ideally, you want to get access to Tlemcen, but getting access to really anybody works as well. Then you can start raiding because you're a Berber nation, and the raiding is one of the key things that makes you a strong power. In this case, I'm probably not going to get that much further, but so I'll pause here. You don't really have much else to go for you other than the hostile code creation cost, but once you can get Barbary pirates, that's your source of income. The development you have, if stacked with your basic development, doesn't get rid of the cost of developing your provinces, but ironically, if you own a mountain province, you actually get rid of all the development penalty on it, and you can actually develop those to spawn institutions and stuff pretty quickly. Points that you really want to take if you can. Obviously, you want to take out all of Tunis, but you also want to get Tala Imsan, and if you can get Tafiliat over here, you'll get a gold mine, which is difficult for Morocco. The key point, though, you may want to stay allies with Morocco for a long time, because together Morocco and a country that's conquered this region can easily stop Castile and Portugal from advancing into the region. Also, you sometimes can ally either the Mamelukes or the Ottomans, which makes the game a lot easier, but you do have to grow much larger as a country before you can get away with doing that. It takes quite a powerful nation to ally them. And other than that, you really don't have much going for you, but you really don't have too many weaknesses. The best part is you'll know whether you've survived or died within like the first 4 to 5 years of the game, so you can always just restart if you fail. It takes quite a few restarts. What in the world is this? Huh. It takes multiple restarts over and over again, I found, to actually manage to get what you're going for. In this case, I'm not going to get any further there, so I'm just going to... Actually, I'll just piece these guys out for money. Actually, I could force their religion, which would be a good start for me, actually. And then take some money. Anything one can do to get more Ibadi nations on the map at the beginning is the way to go, because the Muslims tend to really not like having heretics in their lands. They really do push to convert lands, even if it would be in their benefit not necessarily to convert it. It's kind of amusing. In this case, trying to convert their lands is going to cause quite a bit of trouble. Luckily, they do get one automatically converted province. And Ibadi, of course, suffers through the same Muslim penalties that it's really rather difficult to convert early on, if I remember. Yep, local missionary strength. So once you get the lands, you want to stabilize yourself. In this case, I'm going to just pretty much start a war against Sturjid. and continue eastward for the moment. I do wish to get an alliance with Tunis, but right now it doesn't seem to be possible. We are relatively close to being able to do so now. That 4 away. Honestly, if we boosted reputation and army, we could probably get it. But alas, we can't do that. We can, however, get more troops on the field at this point. And immediately start a war with these guys. Actually, keep improving relations with these guys no matter what. Keeping Tunis on your side is very key to surviving these people. There we go. Hopefully this will be a stack wipe. If not, at least should be a victory on our side. I need to core these guys. Raise autonomy. I'm going to throw these guys under. Enforce religious unity. So when that's converted, I can then go on to converting that province without much trouble. Luckily, these guys are only 2 provinces big, so they're actually relatively easy to hunt down and finish off. If you have a choice between going legalism and going mysticism, you usually want to go mysticism, but in this case, apparently we're going legalism, which is kind of interesting. There we go. And these guys are pretty much wiped out now. These guys, on the other hand, actually would be willing to be allies and vassals at some point. Allies and then maybe vassals. Plus, right now, Tunis is involved in a war with Castile. If you're really lucky, this fires early on, because that will weaken Tunis's army enough that they almost inevitably will be willing to be allies with you. Once you do that, it's just a matter of keeping Tunis happy till you're able to overthrow them. Tlemcen is definitely the weakest of the major 3, but you do need Tunis to break them. But Tunis does usually want one of these provinces. I guess not this game. Problem is the debt, and the debt is not easily solved. That is the downside to playing as these countries. But you can survive without actually bordering the oceans for quite some time. People, by and large, don't necessarily want to take your lands. Tunis and the other Berbers will, but the 50% coring cost makes it rather tough for actually anybody to, even if they win a war with you, take more than like 1 or 2 provinces. That's the strategy for these guys. I'll probably end this here. I might actually continue this as a silent let's play now that I'm thinking about it. But it's a rough guide on how to start out as Mzab and what to do. These are expanding very rapidly early on, keeping Tunis as a friend and most likely an ally, stuff like that. Killing Tlemcen. Once you do that, once you take over this region, you have to start to look to allies outside of your region, which takes some time. The easiest way to do so is, let me just check one quick thing here. See, another thing is Tunis is rivaled Tlemcen, so if you rival Tlemcen as well, you will get a much better chance of getting an alliance with these guys. There we go. This is about the best starting position as Mzab I've gotten after quite a bit of testing. The problem for now will be to stabilize this region, suppress any revolts, convert it all, etc., etc. Quite doable, actually. This province down here, being Ibadi, actually is really good in the sense that it will help stabilize your religious unity, which is terrible right now. But that's the way it goes. You build up from here. You either take out Fezzan, which is possible in 11 years, or you use Tunis to expand into Tlemcen and then further to expand into the oceans. Once you're fighting Castile, Aragon, Portugal, I recommend, if you can get it, well, ideally you want to kill Morocco, but if you can get things, steal the islands from Aragon first. It will delay other armies. Their armies tend to like to take the islands rather than invade the land. That will help. Obviously, the big achievement as these guys, if you can do it, would be to restore Al-Andalus and get Andalusia, mainly because that will give you a massive amount of lands and claims. And if you can take over that, you can easily expand eastward. Obviously, your biggest problem is both the Ottomans and earlier on the Mamelukes. But once you do that, it's very possible to keep expanding this way. The benefit of starting over here for The third way, eliminate all other branches of Islam, is you manage to take out Morocco, Tlemcen, and this region early on before they get developed and more expensive. Then if you manage to take either this province or this province, you just take exploration ideas and you colonize your way south, and then you get in contact with the Niger and Sahel regions and conquer them, and then it's just a matter of expanding eastward and southward to finish off all of Islam. Although you do have to take out the hordes, but by and large the hordes will be killed off by Muscovy anyway, so it's not your biggest problem. So, thank you guys all for watching. Sorry this was a bit longer than expected. I really wasn't expecting to do gameplay, but I figured I might as well do some. So if you got any questions or comments, please let me know. If you have any other countries you'd like me to do guides for, also put those in the descriptions. And I will see you guys all next time. Bye for now.